Hey everybody, it's Deanna with Tools of EnergyProtection.com, your energy shift expert and Akashic Records advisor. So, how is everybody doing tonight? I'm hoping that you're having a great and wonderful night. I'm actually trying to tonight, well, not trying, but I am working on adding back Instagram. I used to have Instagram on my I would do a live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time. So I'm hoping that's working. Hopefully the Instagram people are getting it. And anyway, so tonight our topics are going to be, we're going to talk about spiritual gifts. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Schumanns, and then we're going to talk about helping you to get some help with all the crazy things that are going on and the spiritual gifts that are awakening, and help is finally here. So I'm super excited that you're joining me tonight. And today is 02232021. For those of you that are into numerology, you'll understand why that's humorous. So I got last week, I told you I'd be changing the platform here with things that I'm doing and the way I'm handling things. And I asked if everybody had questions, and then I sent out emails asking for questions, because instead of doing the Schumanns every week and telling you what's going on here, I'm going to shift that over to a private platform, because that way I can engage with you all better. I mean, it's wonderful to see you here, and I can feel you energetically. Some of your guides come and talk to me while I'm doing these broadcasts, but we can't have a conversation. And so that was my desired outcome, is to create or recreate actually an energy shift circle where you can come and ask all kinds of questions, and it's reasonably priced. And the first month is discounted if you sign up. And if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe at any time. But it's going to be on a Zoom platform so we can all get together. So it doesn't matter if you're in Zimbabwe or you're in London, or, if you're right here in Colorado, we'll all be able to get together at the same time. So I hope you'll join me for that. And I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later on. But let's get on with the questions. So I was really, I was really pleasantly surprised that I got a lot of questions back. And one of the ladies asked me, she said, how long did it take you to become confident in your spiritual gifts and reading for others? And that's a fantastic question. So I'm so appreciative to that person for asking her question. And here's the answer. So my spiritual gifts began when I was born, basically. I grew up knowing things that other people didn't know, but because I just knew, I thought it was normal. You go up and, you're going to school when you're little, and they're going to bring a surprise out, and you already know the surprise is coming. So when it comes, it's not that big of a deal to you because you already knew, right? But, that's how I grew up in my early life, just knowing things. And when things happened, I wasn't as upset or surprised because I had an intuition. And it's easy to accept that as you're a kid, but as you go to school and you start interacting with other people and they tell you that it's bad or wrong or weird, you start to suppress it. And so over time, I did suppress my spiritual gifts so that, I didn't even participate in them because I was so afraid to let them come out and to express them. And for those of you that have known me a long time, I grew up in a Christian church that kind of had a little Jewish Christian, Judeo-Christian flavor to it. And in that, I was made to suppress a lot of spiritual gifts, even though they're in the Bible. And that's another thing we'll talk about in the Energy Shift Inner Circle, that there's a lot of stuff in the Bible. So if you have a Christian background and you're one of those people like me that came out of that really tight, staunch Christian background, thinking you were going to hell in a handbasket because of your spiritual gifts, and the ministers poo-pooed all over you or told you to go repent, or Satan was talking to you, or whatever, I'm glad to report those things, the spiritual gifts, they're in the Bible. Chakras, they're in the Bible. And there's so much more. So if you want to join me on the Energy Shift Inner Circle, that's a great other place to go to get that. But I really appreciate that question. So then that would um, then going back to our question is to how long did it take you to become confident in your spiritual gifts? So that's the second part of the question, even though it's really the first part. So when I finally was able to resurface my spiritual gifts, I was in my second round of college, and we were required to take philosophy as part of our curriculum. And so I took philosophy, and philosophy was actually Eastern wisdoms. And so I began to become exposed to all these other religions and ideas. And as I began to read and study them, well, guess what? My spiritual gifts started going whoop, whoop, whoop. They were coming back, you know? And so then I started to embrace more of the gifts that I had suppressed. And so it did take me a long time because Lisa, the question asker, Lisa, um, what happened for me was that I had to come out of a very narrow is the way Christian background to be able to share my gifts with everybody because I felt for so long they were bad or wrong. And so that journey took me 4 or 5 years. It took me about 6 years before I was able to sit in public. I went to fairs and events to introduce myself, in these big tents, and I was always afraid somebody would walk by that knew me, from the days when I went to the church, and it was hard. And eventually, the more that I began to work with my gifts, the more that God, Spirit, or Source developed them within me, and that gave me a sense of self-confidence because I knew I could read Akashic records. I knew I could talk to dead people. I knew when things were going to happen before they happened. And those unique abilities were mine. And I didn't care after a certain point that other people thought I was bad or wrong. Because they were my gifts. God, Spirit, Source gave me gifts. So who am I to hide them? Who am I to squander them? But it did take a while. And I do appreciate the question. It wasn't just boom overnight. So sometimes the vehicle that the gifts comes in has to work on their own self-love and their self-esteem. And if that makes sense to you, can you give me a thumbs up or a laughing face or a hug or something? But the question came in, and the reason I selected it, it was very pertinent because there are quite a few folks that are struggling with their gifts right now on this earth plane because the star seeds and the highly empathic and sensitive people have been awoken, I guess, for a while, different waves of them. And now it's like it's the biggest one I've seen because I have been teaching people that were spiritually awakening for at least 10 years now. And and you see them come in waves, and I thought it'd be done after a while. And this is the biggest wave. And that's why another reason I went to the Energy Shift platform, because there's so many people that want to come see me. And there's a lot of scare with jobs right now and finances and stuff like that. And I've got some people that are just like this, that say, I really want to see you, but, a session is too much for me. So if that's you, come on over to the Energy Shift Inner Circle. How do you get there from here? You go to toolsofenergyprotection.com and look in the top. I made it really easy. It says Energy Shift Inner Circle. If you're on your phone, hit the 3 little bars and it'll pop down a menu and it says Energy Shift Inner Circle. And then just click on it and you'll see a little video trailer that I did to introduce you to it and what's available. And it is chocked full of things for you. It's community support. It's getting, if you want to know other starseed people, that's another thing that's happening right now. Back when I first started, a lot of sensitives and psychics and stuff like that, they would go to these different corners and they'd kind of do their thing and nobody really mixed together because there was just, I don't know, it was a weird energy. It was like nobody wanted to trust each other and stuff like that. But now that we can't have that anymore. We've got to come together in communities in small pockets or large pockets. Because when we do, the collective consciousness, which is everybody on this planet, will transform. And if we don't invest in this transformation here and now, our earth world history is going to look a lot different than if we do. So if you need a mission, if you need a personal mission to feel better about yourself, if you're one of those sitting at home going, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself because I can't do this or can't do that, then I'm going to encourage you to join us, because you'll feel community, you'll feel loved, you'll feel accepted, and you'll get a chance to talk a lot more about your questions. All right, let's move on. So how long did it take for you to become confident reading for other people? Well, that was quite a journey. When I was sitting outside doing the fairs and the events, and I started very small like that and did some indoor events, and I basically traveled from February to October every year, almost every weekend, and after a while you get more confident at it, but it didn't come without its trouble. I did have people that get in my face and tell me I was doing the devil's work. So anyway, but it took a while. It probably took maybe about 4 or 5 years before I had confidence. But I tell you, if you do any of the divining work, the more you work with it, the more you understand it, the easier it becomes to become a channel for that information. So that's a great question. And then the last one here, she says, what are the top ascension symptoms? Okay, if that's something you're interested in, can I get a thumbs up? If you're interested in ascension symptoms, for those of you who might be going through them. Okay, there's a few thumbs up. Okay, so there's some interest in it. So the ascension symptom, the biggest one I'm hearing is the high-pitched whine in the ears. A lot of people are hearing the high-pitched whine. It's not tinnitus. They might hear a twirl. Sometimes it gets louder. Sometimes it gets softer. And that is basically a frequency to tune into for the purposes of healing, for getting information, for being able to be part of the positive collective consciousness. So that's one of the symptoms. The other symptom is seeing things for how they really are. So, if you've been going along, just happening in life and blah, 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 and all of a sudden you're like, okay, that over there is BS. Why didn't I see that before? That's a sign of ascension. You can see things are not right in some political things. You can see like TV. To me, I don't watch it much anymore because it's all a show. No matter what's on, it's a show. It's a plug. It's trying to program my mind. Whatever you take in here, that's what programs. And so that's it. I become less tolerant with a lot of people that are enforcing things that are not good for the collective consciousness. As a matter of fact, I applied for another form of payment processing. I have PayPal. For those of you who've been with me a while, you always go through that. And so I was trying for a new company because it would allow me to do subscriptions and memberships a little bit easier. And they rejected me because I'm a psychic. Ta-da! Oh my goodness gravy. I understand that's a label that a lot of people put on me, but I see myself more as a metaphysician, and I see myself more as an Akashic Records reader and an energy worker. But somehow or another, my information, when I gave it to them, came up through their database that way, and so they won't work with me. And I won't call their name out on, this platform because I don't think that's very nice. But seriously, it's like, come on. Anyway, I'm going to look at my feed, see if I have any questions, and I'm hoping that this will help you. So if you are ascending, if you do have your spiritual gifts and you're wondering about them and you're struggling, my desired outcome is that my story and my sharing will help you to know that you're all right, that things are okay, and you're gonna come out on the other side okay. All right. So I have Ria. Good to see you back. It was so nice to see you. And Keith, hello. Thank you. That I'm looking lovely. Let's see, Polly. I never not know. Yep, true, Polly. We know everything, a lot of things, a lot of the time. And Monica, hi, Monica. Good to see you. And let's see here. And it looks like a few of you are asking if your angels or guides are speaking tonight or whatever. But again, I'm transforming, for those of you that weren't here last week, I'm transforming the platform. So I'm talking a little bit less about Schumann's and the frequency shifts, and I'm starting to discuss things that are more of service to a wider audience, like, what are spiritual gifts, and, how did I know that I had one? And what are top ascension symptoms, and I'll talk about portals and ghosts and ley lines and stuff like that. So if you have any questions about that, or Akashic records, that's my favorite subject. How do Akashic records affect my health or something? And that's what we're doing on the platform now. So if you do need to have a reading, or if you want to know what your angels are saying to you, then that's something that you'll want to take care of with me one-to-one in a session. And I do have 30-minute appointments back up on my website, so you'll be able to to register for those. And then also this Friday at For Heaven's Sakes Books in Denver, Colorado, I will be there, and I will be doing sessions. So if you want to come out, I'll have a little mask on, and I have some plexiglass, kind of like when you go to the bank. Um, and you can do a session that way, or we can do it on a Zoom platform. So I'll see you just like this, or we can do it on a phone, or I guess these days it's the phone. But anyway, so if you want to call For Heaven's Sakes, it's 303-964-9339. 303-964-9339, and call at the store, because I work down there from 11 to 5 on Thursday. And so if you're not really careful, those time slots will be gone. And then this coming up Friday, for those of you that are challenged, feeling like you need a little something more budgeted, until it is full, I have appointments available on Friday. And when I called the store, I think I have 3 slots left on Friday, and it's Discount Friday, and it's a $30 discount from my normal 1-hour price, approximately. So, yeah, about $30. So if you need that, then go ahead and come see me that way. Otherwise, go to toolsofenergyprotection.com and click on sessions, and you can find a time there. So it looks like I don't really have any other questions other than that. I did want to let you know that Schumann's has straightened out a little bit. So we're not seeing the bumpy ride so much anymore. So the symptoms, if you will, right now are sleeping easier. Also letting go of other people's poop. Oh, wait a minute. There was something else my guides are telling me. Just one moment. Let's see here. Okay, I think I got it all. Yeah, the other thing on the platform is I want to talk about 3 different things when I'm here, so everybody knows what I'm doing. But my guides are talking to me about something else. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. It's not planned, but you know how it is with me. Guides are always telling me something. So I think last week, or maybe the week before, I was giving some dating advice, because it was February and the love month, and um, one of the things that I wanted to share with you is that I see a lot of young ladies, women, that are having trouble saying no. And dudes, I'm sure this applies somewhere along the line for you, but I'm not a dude, so I don't know. But what I came across was some women, in a Facebook community. They were talking about how they are, they're desiring to date. And so they go on dating websites, and they meet a guy, and they text him a little bit. And before she knows it, he's ghosting her, which apparently, happens, which means, okay, he texts, she texts, he texts, she texts, and he never texts again. And so the women were really frustrated, because they're like, what's wrong with these guys? Well, what I want to do is I want to suggest to the ladies that you learn to say no. So first of all, if you're dating on a dating website, before you ever get on, I'd like for you to set some boundaries. This goes for men and women. Set some boundaries. How many times do you want to text this person back and forth before you meet them in person? Or how many times within the platform do you want to text them back and forth before you either go to something called Connect Me, or you give them your private phone number. Because ladies, if you don't set boundaries, these guys are just like swipe, 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 and whoever's convenient, they're going to text or talk to. And men are getting a lot of not real people, is what my clients have been telling me, that they go on and they get robots or something, not real people. So dudes, I know you have challenges too. But with the women, I'd like for you to set boundaries, okay? How many times do you want to text him back and forth within the platform before you give him your private number? That's important. Do you want to ask him a couple of questions to kind of see how he answers and get a feel for him, before you give your private number? Because, once you give your private number, they may send pictures you don't want. So be careful with that. And then the ladies tell me sometimes they will go out with the guy right away, and then they give their cookies away, and then the guy doesn't get back to them, and they're heartbroken. So my loving advice to you is, don't give your cookies away for at least 3 months, and make sure that you're actively engaged in this relationship. You've seen them in person, you've talked to them, you've done something, before you just go and exchange your cookies, trying to have a relationship. So that's my loving dating advice, and I don't mean to turn this this thing into your dating, information, but it seems like it needed to be shared. The guides were prompting me to do it, so that means somebody out there needs that kind of help. But anyway, so if you're hearing the high-pitched whine in your ears, if you are seeing things differently than you ever have before, if you are less likely to put up with people's stuff and draw boundaries and say no a lot more, and it's kind of scary, that's a sign of an ascension. And that means you're waking up and you're coming into this higher level consciousness. So please come and join us on the Energy Shift Inner Circle. We meet every Wednesday at 7:30 Mountain Time. All you have to do to sign up is go to toolsofenergyprotection.com, click on Energy Shift Inner Circle, and it'll take you over, and you can see all the attributes. I put everything up there that's included of what we're doing. And then you just click buy now, and it'll sign you up, and you will get another email setting you up for tomorrow night. It's our first time to get together, so please come. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Anyway, that's it. I don't see any other questions. Wait, whoa. Let's see here. Yes, I don't see any other questions. I do see somebody asking me what's on the job horizon for you from your guides. So Rachel, again, this coming up Friday at For Heaven's Sakes Books in Denver, I do have discounted sessions. You can get a half-hour session there. So I suggest that you call 303-964-9339 and get on my books, because that's really not what I'm doing on the platform right now. Let's see here. And then I do have one person that says, how do records impact health? And Ria, I would love to get to that next week if you don't mind. I'm also thinking I might come on tomorrow and do an additional video on how the Akashic records affect your health, but very short order. When you have energy trapped in your body, in your physical body doesn't function. So let's say, Ria, that you had somebody, hit you really hard when you were a kid. And your emotions, when you were hurt and you couldn't believe they did it, the cellular structure of your body will hold that hurt for a while, sometimes years, sometimes our entire life, until we work it out. So the Akashic records is a way not only access that record and clear that energy from your current life, but from other existences as well. And that's how that works. Let's see here. And then Leslie says, oh, hi, Leslie. She says, is there a difference between hearing a ring on the left and the right? Ooh, Leslie. Yes, dear, there is. Sometimes you'll hear the high-pitched whine in both sides, sometimes on one side, sometimes in the other. And then I find sometimes it'll get a really super high pitch on one side more than the other. And some people do have pressure instead of the ringing. And so, yes, there is a difference. Why one side rings more than the other. And that's a beautiful segue because I will be putting up here, and I will do another little video. I'm going to be teaching a class on how to access the high pitch wine, help it to heal your body, and how to tune into the information that's being offered, because this is really a radio station that all of us have access to, but we just don't know how to tune into it. So my guides and I have worked on it. They've given me the platform of how to do it, and I'm going to be offering that really super soon. So I'm so super excited. And Leslie, stay tuned. So go up here, hit like or follow on Facebook to get the announcements, or you can go to my website and click on emails to get joined to the email. But yes, I will be posting that soon. And so that's it. So thank you very much. I love each and every one of you. I'm so super glad that you're okay with me changing the platform. Yes, I will absolutely come back and do nights where I just do angel readings or guide readings. But, you know, that's not the purpose of tonight's platform. So you'll have to watch for it so you can know what I'm doing on what nights. And I'll put it in the feed and stuff so that you'll know. So anyway, have a great and wonderful night. I look forward to seeing those of you that have signed up for the Energy Shift Inner Circle. So super excited. And for those of us that are going to get together at the bookstore on Thursday and Friday, and be sure and call them in the morning, 303-964-9339, before it fills up, because right now the world is just so nuts, and I'm finding that my schedule will fill up usually a couple of days before, if not a week before, but there are some openings still. So get on there, give them a call, or go to the website forheavensakes.com, and then they have a place where you can sign up online now. So anyway, that is it, my darlings. Have a great and wonderful night. Big hugs and kisses.